إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mature, I don't know how to pronounce the name, I apologize. He says, is it permissible to wrong others in fear of great harm? For example, if one works under an unjust ruler and he says that go capture someone's wealth and land for no reason and unjustly, and if he does not obey his tyrant ruler, he will be killed. Can one take some other people's wealth or land in this case? First of all, this is hypothetical. Any tyrant as such would probably throw you in jail, would probably torture you, but he will not kill you. If it is certain that he will kill you if you do not take someone's wealth, then it is permissible for you to take his wealth, because protecting yourself is far greater than other people's wealth. But the scholars differed. Does such a person is obliged to return to the victim what he had taken from him unjustly? It's an issue of dispute. But let's assume that a tyrant ruler tells his soldiers to kill someone or to torture someone, or he will kill them. The answer is, it is not at all permissible for you to harm someone, not even by touching his finger, and you are better off dying rather than harming them, let alone killing them. This is totally prohibited, unacceptable. Saving yourself is not a justification to harm other people. You die, you go to Jannah, inshallah, as a martyr. But you inflict harm upon others or kill them, you are an oppressor and a murderer. Abdul Qadir says, we have some parts of the congregation who believed that there is nothing wrong if the place of the imam stays in a higher place than the congregation. So this is an issue of dispute among scholars. Can the imam be in an elevated place when praying from the congregation? And it's an issue of dispute among schools of thought. And the most authentic opinion is that if the height is reasonable, so it's a foot or two above the ground, or if it's for a legitimate reason, then this is permissible. If not, the prayer is valid, but it is not recommended. It is disliked, because usually the imam would be a bit arrogant when he senses himself higher than the others. The ma'mum, the follower, may raise his gaze in order to follow the imam and see which position he's in. But if it is a little bit higher than the normal ground level, this is permissible, inshallah. Dr. Atif says, I'm working as a surgeon in a corporate hospital in India. I have to attend parties and functions where alcohol is served along with dinner. Is it haram to attend such functions though I sit at a separate table? The answer is yes. This is totally prohibited for you, Atif Bhai. You must have the honor and the pride in your heart of a Muslim. Why is it that you accept to be humiliated as a Muslim for your job? If they do not respect you and respect your religion and refrain from any such haram foods and drinks on the table, there is no reason at all for you to attend. What counts is your work, and you're working, and your work defines you. You're a good doctor. They know that you do your job quite well, better than many others, if not better than all. So either they respect you and refrain from this haram, or you do not attend at all. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever believes in Allah and the Day of Judgment must not sit on a table where alcohol is being served. You claim that I'll be in a separate table. Yes, but you can see them drinking and abusing intoxicants, which is haram in your religion, in the same hall, and there is no legitimacy or any Islamic justification for that, and you must avoid it. Fatima says, Sheikh, I live in Canada, Ontario. We started fasting the first day of Ramadan according to the majority of Muslims and according to the moon sight, but we realized that our near masjid communities started one day ahead. I don't know on what basis, but should I now celebrate Ramadan Eid according to my near masjid or what the major Muslims in Ontario do? Definitely. You must follow the vast majority of the Muslims in your country. If you have a religious authority, so if you have a Sharia board or a Sharia committee that governs the affairs of the Muslims in Canada, you should follow them because they are your leaders. Whether they are the majority or not, they are the ones that people go to solve their problems, their inheritances, their marriages, divorces, and khul'. So you should go to them and follow them. If you don't, then this is a big problem because it means that the Muslims are unable to unite over a simple issue like this. The norm is that moon sighting is followed. But if there is no authority to sight the moon, the fatwa is that the people follow Saudi Arabia. And this is almost similar to the global sighting, moon sighting, because they take Saudi Arabia as the center of the Islamic world, so they follow Mecca, and whatever they do, they fast with them. But originally, it is a number of hadiths that govern this issue. One, if the moon is sighted, if the crescent is sighted, this is it. Two, the Prophet saying to the companions and to the Muslims at large, fasting is the day you fast, the majority. And the fitr, the Eid, is the day you celebrate Eid, and that is the majority. So you have to look into your own country. And as you have stated, that the majority of the Muslims in Canada fasted on that particular day. So what you have done was totally legit and correct. Now, when they announce Eid, you should follow them and not follow your local masjid. Ashfan says, what about Islamic memes? I think he means memories or whatever. Nowadays, people share many memes related to Islam, and they termed as halal memes. One of post I saw was like, after iftar, I'll be like pregnant. Is it halal to make jokes on Islam? First of all, I don't know what is memes. Maybe he's talking about blogs or talking about like Instagram, what the people post, putting their memories up. I'm quite ignorant in these new terminologies. But the statement he quoted, which is, after iftar, I'll be like pregnant, is this mocking Islam? No, it's not. He's not mocking fasting. He's not mocking the religion. He's mocking the state he's in after eating so much, which is wrong to eat so much. So comparing himself to like as if he's pregnant because of his filled belly, this is not mocking, and there's nothing wrong in that, inshallah. Khadija from Kuwait.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Before, I'm a Christian before.
Okay.
And I came to Kuwait to work, and I'm now a Muslim.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, and my husband is a Christian now, and I want to know how to talk to him to be come to be a Muslim also. Like, I want to know how to talk to him.
Okay. Any more questions?
No, only one question.
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah. Khadija is a revert. May Allah Azza wa Jal make her steadfast on Islam and give her strength in her religion and knowledge. She says that she was married to her husband who remains a Christian, and she wants to know how to speak to him. First of all, this issue is very sensitive, especially to a lot of the new reverts to Islam, because it makes and constitutes one of the biggest hurdles for them to accept Islam. It goes without saying and without sugarcoating it. Once a Muslim woman reverts to Islam, she cannot remain with her non-Muslim husband. They are not man and wife in the sense that they could have intimacy, they can mix with one another, they can do whatever they want. No. Once she accepts Islam, it is over. However, if the man were to accept Islam as well, then they are man and wife without any problem, no marriage contract, nothing, because the same old marriage contract is still valid. But if he doesn't, scholars say that she has to remain her iddah period, her waiting period, which is counted by 3 monthly cycles. And after that, if he does not accept Islam, the marriage is nullified. How can she give her husband da'wah? She can talk to him on the phone. She can tell him that she found the light, and she tells him about the beauty of Islam, about the common things between Islam and her previous religion, and how Islam excels her previous religion. So all the beautiful things in her old religion are found in Islam, with an extra edge of purity and sincerity. And she tries as hard as she can to tell him in a diplomatic but in a firm way that this is her conviction. She's not going back to her old religion, and she has no way forward except if he accepts and reverts to Islam as well. And she tries to call him to Islam as much as possible by showing him the scientific signs and the miracles of the Quran and the nature of Islam that is the widest and fastest spreading religion on earth. And maybe Allah would guide him. She should make a lot of dua, but at the end of the day, she should make it crystal clear to him that this is her conviction and religion. And if he is not willing, then she has no other choice but to ask for divorce, and she can move on with her new life, inshallah. We have a short break. Stay tuned, and inshallah we'll be right back. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome back. Maryam says, it is obvious for someone to feed 60 poor people for committing a sin like physical relationship during fast. He has to feed 60 people at a time, or he can feed them like 10 to 15 people whenever he is able financially to do so. First of all, the penalty, the expiation for having sexual intercourse during the daytime of Ramadan for a person is to free a slave. And because we don't have slaves nowadays, then the second alternative would be to fast 2 consecutive months. So this is a must. This is not something that you may choose or leave. You have to fast 2 consecutive months as an expiation for spoiling one day through sexual intercourse during the day of Ramadan. If a person is ill, weak, or has an Islamic justification not to fast, in this case, he may feed 60 poor people, and each one of the 60 has to be a separate, different individual from the other 59. Meaning I cannot feed one person for 60 days. And I cannot feed 30 persons, the same people, twice. So these are 60. It has to be 60 different individuals. Do I have to feed them at once? The answer is no. According to your financial means, you may feed 5 a day and 10 the other day, etc., until you finish these 60. Muddathir says, I'm from India, and there is a dish named halim, which is like harisa. Some people say it is incorrect to take the name of the dish as halim because it is among the names of Allah. Some say it depends on the intention. Please clarify on this. A lot of the names of Allah Azza wa Jal can be used with the humans, with other creations, because Allah did not specifically intend them to be His. Allah, for example, cannot be shared with anyone. Ar-Rahman could not be shared with anyone. Ar-Rahim is possible because the Prophet ﷺ was described as Ar-Rahim. Al-Hakim is possible because the people are described by Al-Hakim. Al-Aziz is possible because in Surah Yusuf, Allah gave this title to Yusuf, peace be upon him, the ruler of Egypt. His name was Al-Aziz. So Al-Halim can also be given, as in the Quran, it is mentioned to describe some of the prophets of Allah, Al-Halim al-Rashid, and it is permissible to be used with a dish or with whatever. There's no problem in that at all. Al-Kareem, the generous, is one of Allah's beautiful names and attributes. We can use it with Ahmad is Kareem. He is Al-Kareem. The Prophet was asked, alayhi, who is the most generous of all people? And he said, Al-Kareem, Ibn al-Kareem, Ibn al-Kareem, Ibn al-Kareem. So he mentioned that it is Yusuf, the son of Jacob, the son of Isaac, the son of Abraham. And he described him as Al-Kareem, not Kareem only, which means that this is permissible and there's nothing wrong in that, inshallah. Abdul Rahman, I think his name is, he says, my niece, who is 14 years of age, has been having heavy bleeding for several months at a time, after which she will have a gap of no bleeding for a few days, and then the cycle would start again. She's seeking medical advice from a general practitioner. However, as it is now Ramadan, she has been bleeding for 6 weeks. First of all, this is unacceptable. Bleeding for a woman in her menses cannot exceed 15 days in a month. So over the duration of 30 days, it cannot exceed 15 days. It can be 14. But the max is that. Because if it exceeds half of the month, this is not permissible. So any woman who gets her menses over 15 days, immediately she must perform ghusl. She prays and fasts and the whole 9 yards. Why? Because this bleeding is istihada. It's not hayd. It's not her menses anymore. So for 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, totally unacceptable. She should immediately perform ghusl, pray and fast. Now, if she can know when in the month is her old menses, that would be great, but because she's 14 years of age, I don't think she had any. So she has to recognize from the color, the cramps, the smell of the blood, whether this is her monthly period of 6 to 7 days or not. If this is not possible at all, the blood is the same throughout the 3 or 4 months, in this case, she should follow her womenfolk her sister, her mother, and whenever they get their period, she considers that period is hers, and whenever they're pure, she performs ghusl. If the bleeding makes her weary and tired and unable to fast, she's exempted from fasting, but she has to make it up when she is pure. Tansim or tasneem. She says, I've seen blood with my discharge and did not fast today as I usually get some slight bleeding at the beginning. This is an issue a lot of the women ask, and that is spotting or colored discharge. And the spotting and colored discharge either come before the period or come during and attached to the period. Whenever the spotting or the colored discharge come before the period, it has no impact on your salat and fasting. Why? I can feel the cramps, I can feel that it will come after a day or two, but this is not the norm. Sometimes it does come, you stop from praying like in Tasneem's question for a day or two or three, and then it stops. You're pure for a whole week, and then your menses comes. So what about the 3 days that you've missed? Oh, I thought it was going to come. There is no excuse for you at all. Before the period, spottings and colored discharge, you do not pay attention to. When you get your period for 5-6 days, but you did not see your purity, and all of a sudden the blood changes, but you continue to see spottings and colored discharge, this is part of your discharge, of your menses. Do not start to pray. Wait until you see your purity. So you have to differentiate before and after. Abu Ma'ruf from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum
Assalamu wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, after offering Taraweeh and Witr daily in Ramadan, is it necessary to offer Tahajjud 3 a.m. in the morning before 1 hour Fajr?
Okay, I will answer.
And the second question is, could you please enlighten the racial discrimination going on everywhere in the world, especially in the Gulf countries,
okay,
with the third country world people?
I will answer you, inshallah. Abu Ma'ruf, I'll answer you your first question, but kindly tomorrow give us a call, or inshallah I'll try my level best to remember your call about racism. Taraweeh is not mandatory. So when you say, is it a must? No, it's not must. It's highly recommended. You do it, you get big amount of reward. You don't do it, you're not sinful. If you offer the Taraweeh and Witr with the Imam in the masjid, Allah would give you the reward as if you have prayed the whole night. One says, okay, then why do we pray Tahajjud before Fajr? Simply because you want more reward. So one night is not enough. You'd like to get 1.5 night or maybe more, especially in the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Therefore, it is highly recommended to offer Tahajjud prayer, but it is not mandatory, whether in the first 20 days of Ramadan or in the last 10 nights of Ramadan. It is not mandatory, but it's highly recommended. It's like telling you, would you like me to give you a gift of 1,000 riyals or 1 million riyal? Anyone who would say 1,000 riyal would do would be crazy. And likewise, in this season of good deeds, anyone who says, I'll just it will suffice me to pray Taraweeh and I don't want Tahajjud, I don't want Qiyam, he would be like that, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best.
إنني هداني ربي إلى صراط مستقيم دينا قيما ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين